Imagine an animal that keeps growing for decades and barely seems to age. Aging seems like one of the unavoidable rules of life. We're born, we grow, we get older, and eventually our bodies begin to decline. But in nature, aging can work very differently. Some animals age incredibly slowly, some resist diseases associated with aging, and others can actually rebuild parts of their bodies. Today, we're counting down 7 extraordinary animals that seem to break the rules of aging. And stay until fact number 1, because the final example has one of the strangest life cycles in the natural world. Fact number 7, the crocodile. Crocodiles are often described as animals that never age, but that statement needs a little clarification. They are not immortal. They can still die from injuries, disease, starvation, or environmental dangers. What makes them interesting is that crocodiles can continue growing for much of their lives, and they may show less obvious age-related decline than humans do. Fact number 6, the naked mole rat. Now we move from one of the largest and most intimidating animals on this list to a tiny mammal that looks completely different. The naked mole rat lives underground in complex colonies and has an unusual reputation in aging research. These animals can live for more than 30 years, which is extraordinary for a rodent of their size. Even more interesting is how they handle many problems associated with aging. Naked mole rats show unusual resistance to several age-related diseases, including certain types of cancer. Scientists have been studying these animals because they may reveal clues about how some species remain healthy for much longer than expected. But this doesn't mean naked mole rats don't age at all. Their importance is that they show how differently aging can work in different mammals. Fact number 5, the axolotl. The axolotl looks like something from a fantasy movie, but its most impressive ability is completely real. This strange amphibian can regenerate lost limbs. If an axolotl loses a leg, it can grow a replacement. And its abilities don't stop there. Axolotls can regenerate parts of their spinal cord, heart, and other tissues. Imagine damaging an organ and having your body rebuild part of it, instead of simply forming scar tissue. Humans have some regenerative abilities, but they're extremely limited compared with the axolotl. Scientists are studying axolotls to understand exactly how their cells coordinate this process. The axolotl isn't immortal, but it does challenge one common assumption about aging and injury. Once complex tissue is lost, it doesn't necessarily have to stay lost. Fact number 4, Hydra. Now things get even stranger. Hydra are tiny freshwater animals that look almost too simple to be interesting. But scientists have discovered something remarkable about them. Under certain laboratory conditions, Hydra can show extremely low levels of senescence, meaning they don't appear to experience the same kind of age-related decline that many animals do. One reason is their unusual ability to continuously renew their cells. Instead of having a body that gradually accumulates damage in the same way ours does, Hydra constantly replace many of their cells. Their simple body structure also makes regeneration much easier than it would be for a complex animal like a human. But don't call them completely immortal. They can still die from environmental stress, disease, predators, or other causes. What makes them fascinating is that biological aging itself may be far more flexible than we once assumed. Fact number 3, the immortal jellyfish. You've probably heard of an animal called the immortal jellyfish. Its scientific name is Turritopsis dohrnii, and its life cycle is one of the strangest in the ocean. Most animals have a one-way life cycle. They are born, mature, reproduce, and eventually die. But this jellyfish has a remarkable ability. When faced with severe stress or physical damage, it can transform its adult body back toward an earlier developmental stage. In other words, instead of simply continuing forward through its life cycle, it can essentially reset part of the process. This is why it's often called the immortal jellyfish. But the nickname can be misleading. It doesn't mean the animal can never die. Predators can eat it, disease can kill it, environmental conditions can destroy it. The remarkable part is its ability to reverse its developmental state. Fact number 2, the Greenland shark. Now let's go from one of the smallest and strangest creatures in the ocean to one of its oldest. The Greenland shark is famous for its incredibly long lifespan. Scientists estimate that some Greenland sharks may live for several centuries. That would make them among the longest-lived vertebrates known to science. These sharks grow extremely slowly and live in the cold waters of the North Atlantic and Arctic regions. Their slow metabolism and cold environment may play important roles in their unusual longevity, although scientists are still investigating exactly how all the pieces fit together. Imagine an animal swimming through the ocean today that may have been alive long before modern technology existed. For humans, living past 100 is exceptional. For some Greenland sharks, reaching a few hundred years may be possible. The ultimate aging outlier. So which animal deserves the number 1 spot? The answer isn't simply the animal that lives the longest. The most fascinating examples are the ones that make us question what aging actually is. Across the animals we've seen, nature uses completely different strategies. Crocodiles can continue growing and may show limited signs of age-related decline. Naked mole rats can remain unusually resistant to several age-related diseases. Axolotls can rebuild complex tissues. Hydra can continuously renew their cells. The so-called immortal jellyfish can reverse part of its life cycle, and Greenland sharks can survive for centuries. Together, these animals reveal something important. Which one should we investigate next? Subscribe because the next animal might be even more unbelievable.